It began on a quiet evening in October 1932, an evening that seemed ordinary until it wasn't. Ruth Judd, a seemingly mild-mannered woman, became the central figure in one of the most chilling crimes of the era. To those who knew her, Ruth was polite, charming even, but as the story unfolded, the mask of normalcy slipped, revealing a darkness that no one had anticipated. The story revolves around three women: Ruth Judd, Agnes Ann Leroy, and Hedvig Samuelson. They were friends, or at least they appeared to be. Ruth, often referred to as Winnie Ruth Judd in the papers, had moved to Phoenix, Arizona, where she quickly formed a close bond with Agnes and Hedvig. The trio seemed inseparable, sharing laughter, secrets, and dreams. But beneath the surface, tensions were simmering. Ruth had a secret, one she guarded fiercely. She was involved in an affair with a wealthy and married man, a fact that Agnes and Hedvig were all too aware of. This secret, combined with growing jealousy and strained relationships, turned their friendship into a powder keg, waiting to explode. Ruth's mind was a labyrinth of emotions, jealousy, betrayal, and resentment intertwining until they became impossible to untangle. The fateful night began like many others. Ruth visited Agnes and Hedvig's home for a casual gathering. As the hours passed, their conversations took a darker turn. Arguments erupted, accusations were hurled, and years of pent-up tension finally came to a head. What exactly transpired in that room remains a mystery, but by the end of the night, both Agnes and Hedvig were dead. Ruth's account of the events shifted over time, adding layers of complexity to an already baffling case. Some say she acted in self-defense, claiming the women attacked her first. Others argue it was a premeditated act, driven by envy and desperation. What is certain is that the aftermath was as horrifying as the act itself. Ruth dismembered the bodies and stuffed them into large travel trunks, attempting to hide the evidence of her crime. The next day, Ruth boarded a train bound for Los Angeles, carrying the trunks with her. Her plan, whatever it might have been, quickly unraveled. The smell emanating from the trunks drew the attention of baggage handlers, who alerted the authorities. When the trunks were opened, the gruesome contents shocked even the most seasoned detectives. Inside were the mutilated remains of Agnes Ann Leroy and Hedvig Samuelson. Ruth Judd became the subject of a nationwide manhunt. Her face was plastered across newspapers, accompanied by sensational headlines that dubbed her the trunk murderess. Despite the odds, Ruth managed to evade capture for several days, hiding out in Los Angeles. But her time on the run was short-lived. She was eventually apprehended and brought back to Phoenix to face justice. The trial that followed was a spectacle, drawing massive crowds and intense media scrutiny. Ruth's defense team argued that she was mentally ill, incapable of controlling her actions. The prosecution painted a different picture, portraying her as a cold-blooded killer who had meticulously planned the murders. The jury deliberated for hours before delivering their verdict. Ruth Judd was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. As Ruth awaited her fate on death row, her case took yet another twist. Questions about her mental state and the fairness of her trial led to a series of appeals and legal battles. Eventually, her death sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. She spent nearly 3 decades in prison before being released on parole in 1971. By then, she was a frail, elderly woman, a shadow of the person she had once been. The story of Ruth Judd is more than a tale of murder. It is a window into the complexities of human relationships and the fragile line between love and hatred. It forces us to question what we think we know about the people around us. How well do we truly know our friends? What secrets might they be hiding? And perhaps most chillingly, what are we capable of when pushed to the brink? Ruth Judd's name may have faded from the headlines, but her story lingers, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk in even the most ordinary lives. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most polarizing cases in American history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more true crime cases.